This year's most intense zombie thriller will push you to your limits with relentless action. For some fans, this is the sequel they've awaited for 18 years. Let's get started right now. When the zombie plague hit England, millions died before they knew what was happening. A boy watches his mother and sister die, then runs in panic to find his father.
Dad, what's happening?
His father declares the infected are granted eternal life, places a cross pendant in his son's hands, then opens his arms to welcome his fate. The boy in the sewer witnesses his father turning into a zombie. 20-8 years later, England has become and ruled by the undead. A few survivors live on distant islands far from the mainland. Life is harsh, but they're safe from the virus in this secluded place. Young Pike quietly placed a piece of smoked meat he'd saved by his bedridden mother's side. He said he was leaving for his coming -age trial. His mother protested from her sickbed but was too weak to stop him. It was island tradition every boy must hunt a zombie on the mainland before manhood. Jamie fully supported this tradition, hoping his son would soon prove himself as a true man. Cheered by the whole village, Jamie brought Pike to the island's sole gateway. The guards opened the massive gates after confirming all was clear. A spectral trail flickered upon the waves, their only passage to the mainland, concealed beneath the sea save for fleeting moments when the tide receded. Jamie checked the sky, estimating they had 4 hours before high tide to hunt down a zombie and return in time. The shoreline stood bare, all trees felled for the island's fuel needs. Unaware they had climbed to the peak where Pike first saw the vast land before him. His father grinned, "Walk far enough, and you'll lose sight of the coast for months." They soon entered the dense forest where Jamie pointed ahead at the legendary crawler zombies. They survive on roots and bugs. Targeting their heads works best. Pike faced his first real zombie, hands shaking with nervous tension. Jamie instructed him in archery while a crawler sneaked up unnoticed behind them. Pike drew, fired a clean shot to the neck. Another rose behind them. Jamie dropped it with one arrow. Jamie kept praising his son for the perfect shot. Plenty of daylight left. Jamie wanted to show him the world. Back on the island, we never saw creatures this massive.
They're amazing.
Before long, they came across a rundown house completely emptied of any useful supplies by earlier visitors. Jamie only found a frisbee when noises came from inside. They crept forward to find crows feeding on a hanging corpse. Pike couldn't understand such cruelty among humans. Jamie explained the mainland's full of crazies, making their island paradise. Before they left, Jamie made Pike shoot the infected, believing that repeated killing would force one to grow up fast. Leaving the cabin for their island return, Jamie noticed fresh blood stains and a deer head hanging from a nearby tree. He figured an alpha zombie did this, deadlier than any crawler they'd met. Jamie grew cautious, but as luck would have it, a horde of zombies emerged in the distance ahead of them. Jamie muttered a curse and bolted into the woods with Pike. The zombies moved like wild animals and were unnaturally tough. Jamie fired arrows wildly, but Pike's shaking hands left him useless in the fight. He had to pull back fast, dragging Pike back to the cabin. The father and son hastily climbed up to the attic, barely escaping the zombies' attack. As the son said, Jamie and his son were wrapped in the cabin. He warned Pike these zombies were smart. With arrows running low, they had to wait them out. No way back to the island. As night fell, Pike saw lights shining on the sea. Jamie said it was the foreign quarantine patrol. The boy's attention was caught by a distant fire in the woods. Jamie looked puzzled, equally clueless about the fire. They'd just fallen asleep when a violent tremor startled them awake. "I heard a beast," said stampeded past, shaking the crumbling house. Jamie grabbed Pike and bolted outside, dreading the alpha zombies' approach. They sprinted for the shore without pausing for breath. The tide hadn't receded enough for them to cross the water. Jamie couldn't wait. He calculated the tide was falling. If the water stayed below knee level, they could reach the island. Halfway there with no zombies behind, the father and son finally relaxed. Their celebration was cut short by birds scattering overhead. Jamie sensed trouble and turned to see a zombie closing in on them. He yelled at Pike to run for his life, but the water made their movements painfully slow. With the zombie almost upon them, Jamie screamed for help. The gate guards heard the noise and triggered the island's defenses. A barrage of arrows finally brought the zombie down. The island's leader carefully checked Jamie and Pike for infection before slowly opening the gate. Pike's successful trial made him the star, filling Jamie with pride. As the dance ended, Pike noticed his father missing. He ran outside and stumbled upon Jamie with the village bell. Devastated, the boy sprinted all the way home. Grandpa stayed up to hear about his grandson's strange adventures yesterday. Pike first told of vast hills, then the speedy zombies. At the mention of forest's southwest firelight, Grandfather's expression darkened. He said Kells could be the arsonist that once Midas' famous local doctor. Pike looked puzzled, wondering why his father hid the doctor. Grandfather shuddered. That man's dangerous. If Jamie kept quiet, he had good reason. Pike held until let it go the following day. When Jamie returned, he confronted him directly. Why did you hide the doctor's existence? Don't you want to take Mom to see a doctor? Jamie hastily clarified the doctor was a madman. Years earlier, during a food search, he was hit by a putrid stench, then spotted numerous corpses strewn across the distant grassland. The doctor was burning corpses one by one for unknown reasons. Jamie thought the man was insane and avoided him for 10 years. Pike harbored another fear that his father was biding time for his mother's death to openly be with the village belle. Jamie, struck by the truth, slapped his son at once. Pike ran back to his mother in tears, believing she was the only one who truly loved him, and vowed not to let her illness kill her. A daring plan suddenly came to head. At the crack of dawn, Pike quietly set a wooden cabin ablaze. Panicking, he dashed to warn the guards of the fire, telling them to hurry back and put it out while he kept watch. Determined to save his mother, Pike quickly took her off the island in search of a doctor. Her condition was strange, constant fevers and occasional delirium. She appears completely normal between episodes. Though angry at her son's recklessness, the hideout left her no choice but to follow him to the doctor. That first night, Pike did as his father taught and settled in the building. He let his mother rest while keeping watch outside. Near midnight, Pike dozed off despite himself. A crawling zombie inched closer, sniffing at his shoelaces before going for his neck. Pike jolted awake in terror, only to discover a lifeless zombie on the ground. His mother had slain the creature during the night. They pressed on toward the distant smoke. Her episodes brought incoherent rambling, coming more frequently now. Pike's eyes showed deep concern, especially when her nose began bleeding this time. As he reached for a cloth, a zombie burst from the rapeseed field. Pike instantly drew his bow and fired, but the noise drew more zombies. Mother and son fled for their lives, reaching a gas station only to face more zombies on their tail. Pike forced open a door to a room filled with fumes. The dangers outside left him no choice. But as zombies broke in, mother and son were quickly trapped. The rooftop skylight exploded open, forcing them to duck just as flames engulfed the entire room. They narrowly escaped death thanks to a foreign soldier who came to their rescue. He explained the room was filled with flammable gas as a trap for zombies. Hearing they sought a doctor, the soldier offered to escort them. Pike wondered who this soldier was. The soldier explained he was with the Dutch Epidemic Prevention Force. Days earlier, their patrol boat capsized in a storm, stranding his unit here. After multiple zombie attacks, he's the last man standing. Only then did Pike realize Midas, his entire country, was under quarantine. Foreign patrols surrounded the waters, blocking any escape attempts. The trio walked on chatting as their destination drew near. Pike's mother left the group and walked toward a derelict train car. She'd heard distant screams coming from within. Peering inside, she saw a pregnant zombie giving birth. Overcoming her fears, Pike's mother helped deliver the baby. The soldier arrived and shot the zombie immediately. The baby was clean. Pike shielded his mother protectively. As the soldier hesitated, a massive hand yanked him up. The soldier was decapitated in a matter of seconds. The child's zombie father had arrived. Pike and his mother bolted from the carriage as arrows struck the zombie, knocking it out cold. The shooter was the doctor Pike saw. The arrows are tipped with sedatives to knock out zombies. Pike and his mother followed the doctor to a hilltop scattered with chilling bones. The trio passed through the eerie sight and reached the center, where a towering skull monument stood. Pike and his mother were stunned. The doctor processed the soldier's head in a custom iron pot, quickly turning it into a pristine skull. The doctor said this was the only way to rest the dead. This had long been his sacred duty. Pike remembered why they'd come. The doctor examined his mother, checking her symptoms and palpating affected areas. Despite lacking proper medical equipment, the doctor concluded that Parker's mother had cancer, likely with metastases to other organs. Pike didn't know cancer but trusted the doctor could heal her. The doctor sighed helplessly and told Parker his mother didn't have much time left. Pike froze in denial, fat tears rolling down his cheeks. His mother hugged him tightly, having long suspected her illness but waiting for a clear confirmation. "He can't cure me," she whispered, "but he can end my suffering." As the doctor lifted the dart, She gave the faintest nod. The arrow hit Pike and quickly paralyzed his body. The doctor said death comes for all, what matters is the love we leave behind. The boy realized what was coming and broke down in tears. Weakened, immobile, he watched helplessly as his mother leapt into the fire. He knew this was her way of finding peace. In moments only her bones remained. Pike wept as he carried his mother to the top of the White Tower. At daybreak, the hulking zombie was spotted closing in from a distance. The doctor and Parker rushed into the cellar, but the smart zombie dug through the earth and caught the doctor. Pike quickly took the anesthetic from the doctor's pocket and jabbed the zombie with it, instantly knocking the creature out cold. The old doctor said nervously it was time to take the baby and go. 20-8 days later, Pike hadn't come back to the island. He pushed on until the shoreline vanished behind him. First, he left the baby at the island's gate with a letter for his father. As time passed, Pike grew stronger. Taking down zombies single-handedly became easy. During a frantic escape, he stumbled upon a bizarre group. They wiped out the chasing zombies like it was nothing. Their leader? That same boy who survived 28 years earlier. And that's the story of 28 years later. The film struggles with coherence while trying to convey themes of life's continuity, but its scattered cinematography leaves the narrative fragmented and confusing. I really don't get why they kept cutting to these weird scenes. Plus, all the zombies were naked, so there wasn't much they could actually show. Sorry this short film turned out this way.